up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New York. This is season 14, episode 9. So let's get into it. Before we get into it, we gonna get a little spicy. And I actually mean a little spicy because I tell y'all a little spicy and then it'd be like 15 to 16 minutes. That's because the girl be rambling. But this one's going to be short. So the seating chart for the reunion was released. So shouts out to Jay's Reality Blog. I saw that they posted a screenshot yesterday on Thursday that the girls were filming for the reunion. Either Thursday or Wednesday, and we're filming for the reunion. But the seating chart, actually, y'all, I really agree with this seating chart. I think this is like a very good seating chart. And y'all know normally I have an issue with the seating chart. I also want to say I'm actually happy that Bravo knows that we care about the seating chart, and now they're giving us like official graphics, because so far I've really enjoyed each graphic that they have given us. Like, I know it's kind of basic with the skyline of whatever city that they're in and then the circles, but I still like it. I think they've been coming out with really nice ones. I think they're cute. They're simple and cute. So y'all already know Andy is in the middle. On the left-hand side, you have Jessel, Brynn, and Uba. On the right-hand side, you have Erin, Jenna, and Sai. And I agree. And I'll tell you why I agree. Let's start off with the left-hand side. So Jessel, I was happily surprised that Jessel was first chair. I thought maybe she would get second and they would try to put Jenna at a first chair. But I actually think Jessel should be first chair. For one major reason is she's been in conflict since the first 2 episodes. She got into it with the ugly Christmas tree sweater. She got into it with Erin. We've known about her like going through IVF to have her kids. Her and her husband haven't had sex in like 2 years. He's trying to go to Vietnam. Then you have, I think she's going to get into it next episode with Sai and them. So it's like Jessel has been in conflict. And to me, she's kind of handled herself pretty well when the ladies try her. Then Brynn. I think Brynn is only second because even though she shared a lot about her childhood and the trauma and her dating life, we don't really know her beyond that. Like, we haven't seen her host any events. We haven't been in her apartment. And I think one of you guys told me that she didn't get clearance, allegedly didn't get clearance from the apartment complex that she was in order to film in the building, which, I mean, I thought maybe, I don't know, would you really need clearance if people are filming in your house? Like, it's your house, you're paying their like rent. I didn't get that, but okay. But I feel like there's more to Brynn that we just haven't met, and it's beyond her flirtatious personality. Like, I feel like there's more to her, but I think the childhood trauma and her being flirtatious is kind of like what she goes to all the time, instead of like maybe like showing her, not saying that's not her real self, but like her. Because I think sometimes we allow those things to really define us, but that's not really who we are. It really isn't. And then Uba ain't really done nothing, if we're going to be all the way honest. She's just been pretty. She might have a funny line here or there, but she hasn't really brought any value to the season. We see next episode, she probably going to activate where she snatched them glasses off of Erin's face. But other than that, like, Uba ain't done nothing. So her being last chair makes sense. So on the right-hand side, I understand why Erin is first chair. She's been in conflict since the first episode. She got into it with Jenna. She got into it with Jessel. Her and Brynn be arguing all the time. And she got into it with Sai. And now, like I said, she about to get into it with Uba. So she's argued with everybody on the cast. So it makes sense why she'd be first chair. Jenna being second chair makes sense to me because that's what Jenna gives off. She gives off second chair energy. She's not really she's not an anchor to these women. And I feel like normally first chair should be for like the anchor or the star of the show. And in my opinion, Jenna's not the star of the show, even though I do enjoy her being on the show. And then Sai. I actually agree with Sai being last. She's given us bits and pieces of herself. I know some people feel like Jenna should be last and Sai should be in the middle, but I don't know. They could be flipped and I would still be okay with it. But I feel like Sai thought she was going to be the main girl. and she's not, because you can tell, and we'll talk about that in the review, about the way she acts when like she's in the confessionals and when she's around the girls. She tries to give off like I'm that girl, but it's not translated, sis. It's not. But let's get into the review. All right, y'all. So let's get into this episode. So it opens up where it left off, where the girls is at the restaurant, still at that beachfront restaurant. They're sitting at the picnic table, and Erin and Brynn are pretty much arguing. They're still arguing about Brynn's comments at Erin's anniversary party, calling Abe, joking about divorce, talking about like when he's done with her, you can come to me, saying that she was going to be her new dad, hitting on her, Brynn hitting on the dad. Brynn was just doing a lot. And what I didn't like, even though I feel like Erin is insufferable at times, she had a right to her feelings, and I felt like the only person at the table that really had her back was Uba, and Uba's not even in a marriage or a relationship like that, I don't think. And I feel like Sai and Jessel should have understood, and even Jenna, because Jenna's been married and divorced, should have understand like why Erin felt some type of way. I get it. Brynn's personality is to be like flirtatious and extra, but there is a time and a place. And if the lady is telling you like, yo, like what you did, I have an issue with, I feel like it should have been acknowledged, and it should have been acknowledged and respected, because it's like she's telling you she had an issue with it. So then Brynn apologizes, but what she apologizes for is calling the party boring. And then Erin was like, "That's like, I'm so confused. Like, that's what you're apologizing for, not the comments." And Brynn was like, "Yeah, because I said your party was boring, even though it wasn't boring, but I wanted to do that to hurt you." And Erin is like, "Girl, why aren't you apologizing for what I'm really mad about, which is you flirting with my husband?" So then Jessel pops up, and she's kind of like, well, I get what you're saying, but it wasn't like that. Abe was laughing. I was laughing. There was nothing funny. Like, there was nothing like, I don't know. It's not malicious. There's nothing sinister about the joke. Like, it wasn't like she was wishing that upon your relationship. We just all were jokey. But then Uba chimes in, because Uba actually was trying to take up for Erin, and she was like, well, what if somebody said that to you? And I think she tried to ask Sai about it, and Sai was like, girl, I don't care. And then while they're arguing, Sai is trying to like get them to like table their argument. And I was glad that both Erin and Brynn told her to shut up, basically, because she was like, can we just stop talking about it? Can we just stop talking about it? And Brynn was like, you don't need to like referee for us. Like, we got this, sis. Like, we're good. Like, we don't need you to referee. It's all to the good. Like, shut up and sit there and eat your food. So then I guess a waiter comes by. He gives them all menus, and Erin is kind of taken aback because nobody is really like giving her the time. Like, she was like, let's go, and like, can we continue this conversation? And so while she's irritated, you see everybody like ordering food, and then she was like, we're just not gonna talk about this, because Erin wants to get it out. She's like, no, I'm gonna say what I have to say. So then Brynn really officially apologizes, and she was like, well, I didn't mean it that way, and I'm sorry you took it that way. Like, I really love you. I love your relationship with your husband. I didn't mean it that way. And so she was like, okay. So they hugged, and they were good. And then the next thing Erin brings up is like, we all need to clear the air. So then they start talking to Jenna about her whole flying coach. And Jenna, I was proud of Jenna for being like, y'all are seriously mad at me for not wanting to fly coach, when definitely if you had the opportunity, you would all be taking business class. Like, it's not that deep. And so then Brynn was like, well, Erin said, well, we wanted you to come. Like, we wanted you to come with us. Like, that's the whole point of a girls trip. And then Jenna explains, like, I have a hard time being open and honest with people. Like, I've been done wrong by a lot of people, so it takes me a minute to open up. And I was like, okay. And then everyone's like, well, we want to get to know you, Jenna. Like, we're learning things about you by way of other people. We found out that Jenna Lyons isn't really your real name, and the funny name your brother had for you. And then it's like, why is it so easy for you to talk to strangers but not us as your friends? Like, we're your friends. Like, why don't you want to talk to us about it? And then Jenna starts to get emotional because she starts talking about, like, I didn't find out that she brings up her mom having Asperger's again. And she talks about how, like, she did not find out that her mom had Asperger's until she was, like, in her 40s. And I think Jenna is in her 50s. I think she's like 55, I think. And she was just like, I like, growing up was hard. She was like, her mom was a piano teacher. We weren't allowed to be loud. Like, we had to come home, go be quiet. Like, I'm not used to that. She was like, and now when I'm around people, I smother them because that's what I wasn't given. And that's crazy. That is really crazy to me. And I think the reason why I feel like it's so crazy is because, like, granted, I get it. Kids be loud and it's annoying. It's annoying, but it's just kind of like, if you're gonna have kids, you have to allow kids to be kids. Like, one of my favorite memories growing up is when my family was living in St. Louis, and there was a horrible snowstorm in St. Louis, and me and my sister were like cooped up in our rooms, and my dad was tired of us just sitting in our rooms all day. And so he got one of them cheap strobe lights, and we got our we had rollerblades. That's when I used to be able to skate like really well. I'm so mad I lost that skill. But he got rollerblades, in the house we were staying in at the time had hardwood floors, and he was like, come on, let's skate. And we went up and down the hallway roller skating. I don't know how old I had to be at least like maybe 8 or 9. I think so. Cause I think I was in second or third grade second grade when we were in St. Louis. But it was just like, that was fun as hell. And that's like one of my core memories that we did. And it's just kind of like, you got to let kids be kids. And I feel so bad that, like, her mom was really like this. And granted, I understand that the lady had autism, because I think Asperger's is a form of autism. But it's just sad how a lot of people probably grew up with those types of parents, never understanding why they were probably mean to them, because they're struggling too. Like, there's no diagnosis of what Asperger's was probably when Jenna's mom was growing up. So she probably didn't have the coping mechanisms to, like, deal with that. She just probably thought it was, like, normal that she always felt uncomfortable or she was irritated by something. And it's just sad that, like, not being diagnosed really, like, did a bad number on, like, Jenna and her brother probably. It's just like, dang. So it's the next day, and everyone's eating breakfast outside on the balcony that they had. It was such a beautiful, like, when we went to Mexico, just opening up our hotel room was really nice, but we had like full view of the ocean. It's just something about hearing the water and smelling like sea air. I mean, I don't know if I would want that like all the time, but it was a nice feeling, can't lie. So they're sitting there, and next thing you know, Uba finds a hair in her food, but I don't think the cook did it. I think it came from one of the other girls, and she starts coughing like a 3-year-old, mouth wide open. She looked like that cat. My friend said I looked like that cat this one time when I was coughing. But like coughing, like with your tongue roll, it was just so weird. I was like, Uba, you are too grown. If you don't grab a napkin or like get up from the table and cough away from the table, like everybody was like, use a napkin. Like, girl, like, ew, Uba. So while they're sitting at the table, they start talking about, like, family and stuff like that. And then we get more backstory about Sai, and we find out that unfortunately her mom was an alcoholic. Like she said, I think around the age of like maybe 15 or 16, that's when her mom's alcoholism really took over. She was like, I became the parent, and she was like, it was so hard for me to watch somebody I love turn into that. Like, that lady was no longer my mom. And then sadly, her mom ended up having a heart attack at a park, and I guess she people found her. They had her hooked up to like life support and everything, and Sai had to make the decision to pull the plug or to, end. And she was like, she has her ashes in a bag, like a I guess a bag. And I laughed hard as hell when Jessa was like, I hope she in her Hermes bag. a Birkin something. I said, you ain't lying. Because I was like, girl, you just got your mom's ashes in a trash bag. Like, it sounded like she has her, like, because Jessa was like, I hope she don't have that lady in a Walmart bag. It's giving she has that lady in a Walmart bag. But they were like, so Jessa was like, so what are you going to do with the ashes? Like, do you know where you want to scatter them? And what's her name? She said no, like she probably wants to like plant them in a plant that's upstairs. But it was like a really, like, we got more backstory about Sai. So then everybody started crying because they were just like, oh my gosh. And then they did what they did with Brynn, like, you really are a strong person, and like, you've overcome so much. And I was like, okay. So the girls finished breakfast, and now everyone's getting ready to go out about on the town. And then they end up at like another beachfront restaurant to sit down and eat. And while they're sitting down to eat, they're all like, talking. They start to ask Brynn, like, how's your dating life? Like, what do you see in your future? And Brynn is like, during the summer, I was really like heavily dating. I was going on like 3 dates a day. And they were like, well, how do you do that? She was like, coffee, lunch, and dinner. But she was like, now I'm trying to get more serious because I do want a family. I'm not getting any younger, and I need to get out the mindset that I'm still 27, Brynn. I need to, start really like getting down to it because I want a family. So I think Uba was the one that brought up like, hey, have you thought about freezing your eggs? Because I think she has. And she was like, no. Brynn was like, yeah, but like it's so expensive. And then I heard about all the negative kickbacks from it. And Uba's like, no, it's actually like not that bad. You just need 3 weeks. And so then Brynn ends up telling them like, I actually went to go get a consultation, and when I got there, the guy basically, or I don't even know it's the guy, I'll just say the doctor basically told me embryos are more viable than eggs. And I was like, that makes sense, because an egg is an egg. An embryo is already like the beginning process of the baby. Like you just got to implant it in a womb that's healthy. So she's like, and they're like, what? So then Brynn is saying that like she went through her call list trying to figure out like what's going on. What can I, like, who's going to be my man? Like, my man. We're trying to figure it out. So while Brynn is telling the story and everyone's like, whoa, that's crazy. At the end of the table, because the way the table is set up, you have on the right hand side, you got Brynn, Sai, and Erin. And then on the left hand side, you have Jenna, Jessel, and Uba. Uba and Erin are across the table from each other. And what's her name? Erin tells Uba, she was like underneath, like she's whispering, like, don't you think that's a weird lie? Like, she's lying. Like, don't you think she's lying? That's a weird lie to make. And you can see in Uba's eyes, like, she's like, girl, don't bring it up. Just let her have her moment. Like, just let her have her moment. But Erin can't do that. So Erin stops Brynn like midway while she's talking, and she's like, babes, I love you, but I think you're lying. And Brynn is like, why would I lie about that? Like, why would I lie about that? Why would I lie about that, sis? And so that really pisses Brynn off. Jessel tries to come to Brynn's defense, and she's like, yeah, why do you think she's lying? Like, I don't think she's lying. Like, why would she lie about that? So you can tell Jessel don't see it for Erin. And so Jessel gets up. And like, no, everyone gets up. Because I think Brynn was the one that first pop up. You got Uba being like, ugh, girl, y'all relationship, y'all will kiss and make up in like 2 minutes. And Brynn is like, girl, we just got back like on a good foot. Why would you say I'm lying? So then Erin says that Brynn is sensitive. And I'm like, says the person since episode 1 has been in their feelings and have been in arguments with everybody. Girl, shut up. So everybody's walking to the car. You see Jenna and Erin fall back a little bit. And Erin's trying to like plead her case and be like, Jenna, like, don't you think that was like a weird lie? And Jenna kind of don't want to get into it. She just felt like it didn't need to be said. She was just like, I mean, I guess, but like, what was the point of you saying that, sis? Like, there was no need for you to say it. So the other girls are in the car, and but Brynn is like, who is Erin to question my story? Like, why would she think I would lie? So as they're piling in the car, Erin tries to, like, she apologizes to Brynn, and she's like, I love you. I didn't mean it that way. And Brynn kind of like halfly accepts it, but they're all riding in the car, and the vibe is like shot. Like you can tell that everyone's irritated with each other. And I think more specifically, everyone's irritated with Erin because even if Erin thought that Brynn was lying, that was something you could have kept to yourself or said in the confessionals and we could have moved on. There was no need for you to be like, babes, I think you're lying. I think you're lying. So the girls finally get back to the house. Everybody's winding down. And we see that it turns into nighttime. And now they're trying to get ready for dinner. And so pretty much we see Brynn go to Sai's room. And she tells her, like, my social battery is low. Like, I need to recharge it. And I'm going to just stay in tonight. But I just wanted to let you know because you're the host. Then she goes to Erin's room and tells Erin the same thing. And Erin's sad because she's like, why are you not coming to dinner? And Brynn is like, I'm just not coming to dinner, but I don't want you to think I'm not coming to dinner because I'm mad at you, because I'm really not. I'm just, my social battery is low. And then they have this like fake, like, you're so beautiful. You're such a great person. And I love you. I don't know. Their friendship is annoying. But that's how the episode ended. So I think we're winding down to the end of this reboot. This is episode 9, and I think they're going to have 14 episodes in total, just like Dubai, Real Housewives of Dubai, and Real Housewives of Miami reboot that came that was season 4. So season 4 reboot of Real Housewives of Miami. They got 14 episodes as well. So pretty much it was a 2-part reunion. So they got 12 like season episodes, and then the reunion was split into 2 parts. And I think that's what's going to happen with these girls since they already filmed the reunion. If I were to give my thoughts right now, based off of what I tweeted today, I said Erin and Brynn get on my nerves. I find them annoying. Both of them. Their friendship doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand the constant fighting type of friendships. That's exhausting to me. So I don't think I would be cool with someone that I'm always arguing with. Uba, like I said, Uba is pretty. She's somewhat funny, but she doesn't add anything. I am interested to see why she yanked them glasses off of Erin's face when they got into it. Jessel, I actually really like Jessel. I think she is funny. I like her sarcastic personality. Jenna is growing on me. I wasn't all into the fanfare of who Jenna Lyons was in the beginning of the season, but as the season has the episodes have come out, she's growing on me. I was happy that she stood up for herself at the table with the ladies, where she was like, don't nobody want to fly like Coach. And you know that, like, y'all are seriously that pressed that I didn't want to fly with y'all. Like, I'm glad she's starting to like wake up. Sai, I feel like Sai wants to be the alpha of the group in a way, like her trying to shut down that conversation or the argument between Erin and Brynn at the table. I was like, girl, who are you? And I'm glad, like I said, they told her to hush and be quiet. In her confessional, it's like she's trying to come up with like, I feel like she thinks she's that girl, and it's not translating for me. It just isn't. She seems like she's okay, but I don't like people who try too hard to be cool. And I feel like at times Sai tries too hard to be like with it, and it's just like I don't know. It's like she said bodega in this episode like 3 times, and I was like, do you even go there anymore? Like, do you really be going to the bodega down the corner? Where in the area that you live in, do y'all have them type of bodegas? Or is it a Whole Foods, ma'am? Is it a Trader Joe's? Like, I don't know. I feel like she's trying, like a lot of people felt like Jessel in the beginning was trying too hard to relate. I feel like Sai is too. Another gripe for people is that they feel like this show is like trauma dumping. It's like every time they get together, it's this tragic backstory. The only 2 people that seem to not have that is Erin and Jessel. But I think they end up questioning Jessel's story as well when she starts to explain herself. And it's just kind of like, y'all got to give us fun. Like, don't get me wrong. I think them sharing these parts of themselves is important to build the show and to give their character on the show more depth and stuff, and more like it gives them more. But it's like, I want to see y'all drinking and turning up. That's one thing that I loved about old New York, and I didn't want to bring them up, but they would have they mess, and then them ladies would get white girl wasted, falling in the bushes, peeing on themselves, getting naked, throwing tiki torches. It was like, there was an aspect of it that was like so unserious about New York that was just, it just fit. And I don't want these ladies to be on the same level. Like, they don't need to be, but I want to see them like dancing on tables, just having a good time. And a lot of people feel like all we keep getting is them trauma bonding. And that's not to discount or discredit their stories, but I don't want to see it all the time. I want a fun episode. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.